this old kiln donated to us. A friend of my wife's didn't want it anymore, and we are going to convert this electric kiln over to a propane gas-fired kiln. So to do that, of course, I took all of the elements out of it, all the electric elements out of it. We took the box off the front, all the electrical works off the front. We pretty much left everything else as is. We also had some shelves donated to us with the kiln. No pillars, so we're lacking pillars for this one, but we have plenty of pillars around. We're going to be slowly converting this over. Like I said, I've already taken all the elements out. And I also drilled a hole, a 3-inch hole into the side. And that's where the burner is going to go. And my next step, which I've been working on, I've taken some, we had some of these blocks, kiln blocks. We had some of these from another kiln that was taken apart many years ago. And I've been working on converting those over for the chimney. And I'll show you what that looks like. Actually have all the pieces cut, so we're going to start placing those in. Okay, I'm using a hacksaw. I don't do anything with power tools because of the dust. You can see the dust coming off. And I don't want to breathe that stuff in. Get to a certain point, I'm not going to go on any further. Now I can take a saw blade here. This is the opening, lower opening into the chimney. So this is going to be like this, and I got the other half here. So I'm going to saw the other half as well. This is now put aside, that's garbage. Got to mark down my brick where I need to cut. All of this will be cemented together inside the kiln. Up a little bit. There we go. So these two pieces will be cemented together inside the kiln. And that's where the heat will go up and out the chimney. The glue I am using, this is a furnace cement. Up to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit for metal and masonry. So this should work. We're never going to get that hot. Okay, so I took a couple of those brick chunks and I cut them to the right shape. This is the shelf. I'll show you the whole shelf. Cut the edge off because this is the part that's going to stay in the kiln all the time. It's going to be glued right in place, cemented I should say. And that's going up there, and the chimney is going to be built right off of here on this side. And then I took some other blocks, and these are angled so that the heat is going to come in under here. It's going to hit these blocks, and that will refract it up the side of the kiln. And it should go up and around, down to the chimney, and sucked in. So the next part is going to be gluing this in. And then we are going to start building the chimney. So I did take the lid off just for ease of working. And I do have this all together. It is cemented in place. I don't really care for the black cement, but When I ordered it, I could have sworn I ordered white, and when it arrived in the mail, it was black, but hey, it's inside the kiln. Who really cares what it looks like? So I cemented the entire chimney in place. I used those blocks that I had modified. I thinned them out, and that's why we have a gap here. This is the end of one, and I filled in where the wire was going through. I did that so that no heat escapes. I haven't gotten to these yet, so you can see how this goes right through. So that's why I put the cement in, and I need to just complete that. And so all of this is ready. I'm just going to do a little more cementing. After what that set up, I'm going to cement these in place as well, just so that they don't shift. I'll show you what this will look like. So this is actually going to go on here, and I don't have the pillars underneath, but that's what it will look like. So I measured this out. There's the chimney. Okay, there's the lid. And I marked it on here. Now comes the fun part, drilling through this. I'm going to drill the corners, and then we're going to cut it with a handsaw to get this part out. So I have it all measured and marked. I'm just going to go really slow. I don't want this breaking through. This is a concrete drill, even though I probably don't need it because this is pretty soft material on the roof, the lid. And broke right through. Awesome. I have to move this a little bit, so I'm going to drill right into the wall of the kiln. I'm just drilling the corners right now. You don't want to go too fast, so you don't want to create a lot of dust. Now, I'm not going to blow that off. I have my shop vac that I'm going to suck all this up with. Now, this is a drywall saw. It has this really thin end to it. And this is what I'm going to use to start it at least. Get some of this dust off first. There we go, that's better. I'm going back to my hacksaw blade, just because I feel I have a little more control with this. And I'll just go all the way here. Yes, it is. Okay. You heard I met some resistance. I'm not sure whether there's some metal in there or if there's some concrete. That's why I used the hacksaw blade. I don't want to ruin my other saw. At each seam, that's probably the cement that they use to, you can see all the little lines here, so where they cemented each brick together. That's what I think I'm hitting resistance with. I gotta move this over, I'm gonna hit the wall here. So, hacksaw blades are easy and cheap to replace. Drywall saw, not so much. Okay, so I just need this one last side. Make sure this doesn't fall in on me. I don't want it to break, so I'm going to reach underneath. Shift this over a little bit. Just give it a little support so that the whole thing doesn't break off real quick. And there we go. Chimney vent hole, and I can clean that up a little bit if I want to, which I think I do. Got a little bit of an angle there. So straighten that out just so I can get some good airflow coming through. It's a resistance spot right there. Yeah, that's the cement. Right through it. Oh yeah. Okay, this side went a little thin too. My blade angled when I was cutting it. And I might take a file to this later, just to clean it up even more. Yeah, I know, it's just a kiln. I want it to look nice still. You know, I got that darn black cement that I bought, which was supposed to be white. There we go. Okay, clean up this corner a little bit. Corner a little bit. I also don't want any of this falling onto pieces or inside the chimney, so make sure it's got cleaned up, and I'll vacuum out the kiln after I get all this cutting done. There we go, that looks pretty good. Yeah. Okay, so there we have the vent hole in the top. So now I'm going to reattach this to the kiln, make sure it's lined up right, and we should be pretty much good to go then. Okay, so now we are going to install the thermocouple so that we can measure and keep track of the temperature of the kiln. I have these two nice vent holes here on the sides, but I don't want to use those because this is too high. This one is right about where the shelf is. I did measure how far down the shelf is, and it is 17 inches, so I want to go 8.5 inches down so that it's in the middle. I debated on where to put it in the kiln. I thought about putting it over here in the front, but I figured all the heat, you have your heat source on the back, this round. So you have your heat coming in down here in this hole. It's going through the kiln, under the shelf, up this way, coming back down, and then into the entrance of the chimney, and then out the chimney up top here. So I figure if I put it in the front, it's going to get an inaccurate reading because that's where all the major heat is coming in. So instead I decided, let's put it somewhere in the middle. So I decided to put it on this side where your peak holes are, but like I said, too high, too low. So I marked down 8.5 inches right there, and that's where I'm going to drill my hole for the thermocouple. Now, very thin metal here. Make sure you're wearing safety goggles if you're doing this. Unfortunately, it's on wheels, so it's moving on me. There we go. Okay, and I will vacuum out the inside of this when I'm done. The thermocouple right here. This is going to go right on here. I'm going to screw that in. And then I'm going to attach this piece to it and hook up our thermometer. So I want this facing up. Doesn't really matter, but it makes it easier for me to get to those, and I can see the plus and minus. And I've got some sheet metal screws here. There we go. Okay, that's nice and tight. Next thing, I gotta loosen these. Make sure you match them up. It says red on the side here, plus, minus. On my red cord, it actually says K plus. So that goes on this side, the plus side. And the blue tip will go on the negative side. And once I get that nice and tight, then we can hook the other end up here. It's plus and minus. They're different sizes, so that makes it even easier. See, won't go in that way. Turn it on, and right now inside the kiln it is 84.3. Now this is nice because it's got a nice long cord to it, so I can stand back away from the heat of the kiln. And I have seen some people who have actually made little shelves off of these to connect this right to it, or they've connected it to the kiln. I don't like this because even though this is insulated, it does still get a little bit warm. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to have this separate so I can hold it back a little ways. I usually set this on a concrete block or something away from the kiln, and then that way I can keep watching the temperature. And that's it. Kiln's ready to go. And here's the finished product. So we have the entire kiln is all put together. Put the hole for the heat, and these are kind of handy. I just said to leave these on. These just so you can open it and take the temperature through there. And of course the lid opens up. We've got the kiln shelf in, the refractor bricks to create the heat. So the heat is going underneath the shelf here, goes under the shelf, hits those, comes up the edge here, hits the top, and basically gets pulled back down and into the chimney hole down there. And then it goes up the chimney and out. So you're creating a nice circular pattern with your heat, and it comes out there. So I can't wait for you to see my wife fire this up. We're hoping to get a Raku firing and test this baby out here. Get a Raku firing in within the next week. We have to within 30 days in order for this cement to cure. It's dry now, so all the cement inside here, that's all dry, but it needs to cure, and you need to heat it up to 500 degrees within 30 days. So we only got 30 days to get it heated up, and so it's going to be well before that. My wife's getting anxious to use this. So I can't wait for her to show you some of the beautiful pieces that she's going to make in this video.